You can experience Tiger Woods' historic run as he captured all four majors in a row in a 10-month stretch tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Golf. And guys, all of these wins were extraordinary. Each one of them singular in the way that he did it, the pressure that built with every single one of them. As far as trying to identify which one was the most impressive, let's try to do this in as pragmatic a way as we can. John, let me start with you. Your opening argument as to which one that you thought was the gold standard of all the platinum that he put before us.
Well, Butch was right. You could call it whatever you want. I saw all four trophies sitting on his counter in his house. So nobody's done that before, I know that, but I'm going to take you back a little ways. A couple weeks before that 2000 U.S. Open, Tiger won the Memorial by 5 shots. He had just put a new golf ball into play. He had switched from Titleist to Nike. Everybody thought he was nuts, going from Titleist to a Nike ball. I mean, did Nike even make golf balls? But he was dominant right then. So when we got, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. I just finished like 5th at the Westchester the week before the U.S. Open. Of course, we had our normal 3-ball practice rounds. Mark O'Meara, myself, Tiger. I think Adam Scott joined us one day, and Paul Goydos joined us on Wednesday. We get to the 12th hole on Wednesday, and I'm trying to hit these high 3-irons up on the green, trying to hold the green. Mark's doing the same thing. Paul Goydos is hitting one of his little, hybrids in there. We're trying to hold the green. I'm hitting practice bunker shots out of the front because that's the only place I can hit it. Tiger's hitting these 6-irons so high up in the air, just carrying that front bunker, hitting on the green and holding the green. And I'm going, this is something exceptional right here. Johnny Miller drives up in his golf cart, and he's, come out on the green, and he's asking us, some questions. He goes, well, what do you think? And I go, you know what? Pebbles is terrific right now. It's great shape. It's going to be a lot of fun. And he goes, no. What do you think about Tiger and T-Dub? And I went, well, to be quite honest, Johnny, I think he's going to win by 10 shots. And, of course, I was way off. He won by 15. But we knew that earlier in the week, Jaime, that this was going to be something special. And I witnessed it for 3 days, a practice around Pebble Beach, one of my favorite places. And it was very, very special. That to me stood out because we got to see it up close and personal.
Well, John, that U.S. Open was monumental. There's no question. But I would say at St. Andrews, there's an argument that Tiger might have played a little better in terms of just simple ease with which he played. The golf course allowed him a little bit more at St. Andrews room. His swing that week just seemed so rhythmic to me. It was he kind of rocked back and rocked into his forward swing with just absolutely no ripple effect at all, and just threw the ball without any inhibition at all. I think he, after Pebble, which was such a tight golf course with all that rough, he could really feel relaxed at St. Andrews. And I just thought with the roll that he was on, it was something without much stress the whole 4 days. Of course, here's Saturday where he stretched out to a 6-stroke lead. This was the 8th hole, just an incredible 6-iron into the wind, almost holds it, just perfect shot. This is where he started to show these incredible shots that were just superior. On 12 here, a little skipper with some spin on a very, very precise shot. Again, easy birdie. He's starting to stretch out now. And then this shot was just incredible. 275 yards, 3-wood. He loved it. He told Steve Williams, is that the steeple you were talking about? It was just something where he was showing, again, how great he was. I mean, he outdrove the field that week by, the average was 34 yards from the field average. The second guy was Ernie Els. He was 18 yards behind Tiger, who drove at 319 all week. It just was something where he made very few bogeys. He had 62 consecutive holes without a bogey between Pebble and St. Andrews until the third round, second hole. He was just in a spot where David Duval put some pressure on him, but then on Sunday he separated early and he just waltzed home. It seemed to me that was the most stressless and perhaps closest to his peak golf that he ever achieved. What did you think, Gary, at the PGA?
Yeah, well, yeah, Jaime, I think that when you said stress-free, to not find one fairway bunker at St. Andrews. He was a one-man symphony. That, I thought, was as virtuoso as maybe any. And by the way, completing the career Grand Slam at the home of golf. So there was an added element of pressure there. You know, when you look at the four, to me, you know, it's not Augusta National, it's not Pebble Beach, it's not the home of golf at St. Andrews. But Valhalla at the PGA in 2000 was the third, obviously in a row, but it was the one where he had somebody. It wasn't Ernie, it wasn't VJ, and it wasn't Phil. It didn't matter. Bob May that week was making pigs fly. And you're going, well, who is this guy? Well, that part of it was almost the Apollo Creed to the Rocky Balboa. And when you go to the final hole in regulation, nobody thought Bob May was going to make it, including Ken Venturi, who was calling the action. Tiger had to make that to force the playoff, sneaks it in the left-hand side, and then to me, this is the greatest walk-in in major championship history. The walk-in point. 18 under par at that time. That was the lowest score in relation to par. Jason Day would eclipse that 15 years later in 2015. But there was something about this, however low Bob May was going to go, he would take it one deeper. And oh, by the way, after that week, Matt, he went to Akron and shot 259, and a couple weeks later went to the Canadian Open and shot 22 under. And in that stretch, 264s, 265s, a couple 67s, and throw in a 61. He was playing golf at a level that had never been seen before. The Bob May one, to me, that's one of the great mano-a-manos that he's ever had in his major championship history.
There's another, oh, by the way, too, Gary, in the fact that he became the first to defend a PGA Championship since 1937. So that left us with the Masters in 2001. And the prospect that had reached a fever pitch as to whether or not he could actually close the deal. Part of it was the insufferable amount of time that's between the end of the PGA Championship to the start of the Masters. So Tiger was asked and asked and asked nonstop. Mostly he was asked, is it a Grand Slam? Now, people forget, because of the years that have eclipsed, that Gary Player and Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus all said that it wasn't a Grand Slam. Tiger said, as late to us on the Tuesday prior to the start of the Masters, that he respectfully disagrees. Then there was the bar that Tiger himself had set. Tom Watson said that it was a bar that was so high, only he could reach it. Yet, for Tiger Woods, 2001 didn't start out all that great. Yes, he won at Bay Hill, he won at the Players, which would be a great season standing alone for anybody else, but he's Tiger Woods. Remember that bar. And for Tiger, he told us on that Tuesday afternoon that outside of those two wins, where he had finished on average in 13th place, that he was tired. He started 2001 tired because he said he simply played too much golf in the year 2000, at one point having gone 8 weeks in a row. So the questions were being asked. Was the pressure too much even for the superhuman Tiger Woods? He opened with a round of 70. Sure, 2 under par looks good, but he was 5 shots off the lead of Chris DeMarco in so doing. After that, he jumped into the phone booth and he became Tiger Woods, the super golfer. A round of 66, then a 68, then finally a 68 on that final day. He didn't have it secured until Duval bogeyed that 16th hole. Tiger, in his Tiger ways, would birdie the final hole to win by a margin of 2. And history was forevermore set, with Tiger Woods being the first to win 4 consecutive professional majors.
I think the great thing about the fact that not only that he did it, but they are all different. And also the Rota. And like I said about Valhalla, no, it did not have the great history, only the one prior PGA in 1996. But Pebble, St. Andrews, obviously Augusta National, they all had a different texture to them. And of course, it's tomorrow night, Tiger Slam, 8 p.m. Eastern.